Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our third webinar of the webinar series, Ensuring a Quality IEP for Your Child with Deafblindness, garantizar una IEP de calidad para su hijo con sordoceguera. And the name of this webinar today is Developing Appropriate Goals, Services, and Accommodations, desarrollar objetivos, servicios y adaptaciones apropiados. Next slide, please. Para interpretación en español, haga clic en el globo blanco en la parte inferior de la pantalla. Andrew, we can hear you. Luego haga clic en Spanish, seleccione Mute Original Original Audio. Y if listening in English, click on the white globe at the bottom of the screen labeled Interpretation, then click English and select Mute Original Audio. This webinar will be recorded and archived on our website. The presentation will be approximately 60 minutes and followed by 15 minutes for questions and discussion. Questions and comments can be posted in the chat and will be responded to after the presentation. If called upon during the question and answer discussion, find the microphone icon on your Zoom toolbar and click unmute. A link to a handout will be posted in chat. Some Zoom tips. If you want to unmute, there's some icons. So click unmute mic only on the left, and it says unmute. So you click on the microphone and then turn on the camera. You hit on the start the video camera. Also in the chat, use chat for comments or questions. Raise your hand. Also, there's an icon there that you can click, so you can raise your hand, and after that you have to leave the room. Just click on leave and you will leave the meeting. So next slide, please. So today, like I said, it's the name of the webinar is Developing Appropriate Goals and Services and Accommodations, and the presenters will be Julie Maier, our project coordinator for California Deafblind Services, Janelle Dowling, educational specialist for CDBS, and Linda Bernett, itinerant teacher of deaf and hard of hearing students from LAUSD. So let me tell you a little bit about Janelle. Janelle is the CDBS educational specialist. She is a graduate of SFSU and CDBS Deafblind Endorsement Program. She has already been working in the special education field for 17 years. She has worked in the role of paraprofessional, classroom teacher, school inclusion specialist, and special education consultant. She has worked with many different families and education teams, supporting learners of all ages. Something about Linda. Linda graduated from El Camino College ASL interpreting program in 1995 and began working as an interpreter, mainly in education. Shortly after, she started working as a deaf, hard of hearing itinerant teacher for LAUSD, while simultaneously earning both her teaching credential and master's degree in deaf education, and she remains in the same role to this day. She works with students with hearing loss and other disabilities, including hearing losses, ages 3 to 22, providing individualized support services that help increase education access to curriculum and maximize learning. In 2009, Linda was assigned a new student with deafblindness, a total new experience for her. Without any knowledge or experience with this particular combination of sensory impact, she reached out to CDBS and began collaboration that has changed her life. The technical support she received allowed her to provide the appropriate services to help her student, as well as giving her the window into underserved community of individuals that deserve better services, greater opportunity for learning, and more informed educators to fill those gaps. This low incident population behind. He hopes to continue to serve this community and their families, encouraging educational growth, emotional and personal well-being, and engagement with their communities. Something about Julie. Julie Maier joined California Deafblind Services team in 2012 as an educational specialist, and currently she serves as a project coordinator. She has been involved in the field of special education since 1987, when she first met and taught individuals who are deafblind in the community-based adult program, and later supported younger learners with extensive support needs, including deafblindness, in inclusive schools in Berkeley, California, as a paraeducator and special education teacher. As a faculty member at San Francisco State University from 2003 to 2021, she trained and supervised students, teachers in the Extensive Support Needs Credential Program. Julie believes that supporting and empowering families is essential to positive outcomes for children and youth with deafblindness, and is deeply grateful for all that she has learned from the collaboration with families. This is great, and I'm so happy that you guys are doing this important topic. So take it away.
Thank you, Myrna. We really appreciate you organizing this. These webinars have been so great, and we are very excited to be adding on to all the wonderful presentations that have already happened. This is our agenda. So we'll be discussing, we're going to start by talking about our intentions, and Linda will share her intentions after we talk about the agenda. And then we're going to get a little bit into IDEA and setting the stage. We're going to talk a lot about what a well-written and meaningful IEP goal should look like, specific to deafblind learners, and also just generally what a good goal should look like, how to determine appropriate goal areas for your child, accommodations and modifications, services and supports. And we're going to be building on what Darlene talked about in those areas last week. And then we'll have some time for questions and answers at the end, like Myrna said. I'm really looking forward to digging into this topic, and I love talking about the nitty-gritty of developing IEP goals. And I, as an educator, have worked really closely with many families and school teams in all the steps of the IEP, but I love writing goals with families and have worked with a lot of families that are very involved in this process. So I'll be chiming in with my professional hat on and kind of sharing the perspective of the educational team. And Linda, if you want to jump in and share your intentions, now's a great time.
Sure. Welcome, and I am thrilled to be here. And today we're going to talk about the importance of teamwork in both creating and implementing an effective IEP. And from my perspective as a DHH itinerant teacher and service provider, the first thing I want you to know is that you are a highly valued member of your child's IEP team. Why? There are a million reasons, but I'm just going to let you know of a few I've thought of. First of all, you know your child better than anyone. We can get their medical history, their educational records, an account of services and interventions through the years, but your experiences with this unique individual are only yours to share, and they are crucial to writing an effective IEP that accurately reflects your child's needs at a moment in time. Secondly, you have hopes and dreams for your child, and they inform certain decisions in the IEP. Placement, mode of communication, services, accommodations. Your voice is an important one for your child's future. You also have a practical stake in the proposed IEP goals and expected outcomes, because while an IEP delineates an educational plan for the coming year at school, best practices include follow-through support at home, making these goals a direct concern of yours when considering greater access for your child across their environments. And lastly, I just want to say that teachers really enjoy connecting with families and their students. These positive relationships work well for everyone when cultivated in the spirit of doing what is best for the student, and it becomes a win-win.
Thanks so much, Linda. I am thrilled to be presenting with Janelle and Linda. I think tonight's session, having two educators, Linda's still in the field, Janelle was so recently in the field. We hope you walk away with a lot of practical tips. And I wanted to just frame this slide and this session and reminding you that we're trying to build something with this series. So really, tonight we're talking about goals and digging in a little bit with accommodations and services that you could be expecting in an IEP. But I want to kind of talk about how goals sandwich between assessment and determining placement and services. So as we heard from Janelle, Darlene last week, it's really important that a well-developed assessment is first completed, that's very individualized and is addressing all your child's skills, but also need areas in terms of their deafblindness. So the first step is that you have to make sure that the assessment is done completely and comprehensively. From there, that's where the goals come from, because we look at what the child's current skills are, what their interests are, what their unique support needs might be, and then you build goals there that are based on what their skills are, but also what the family's high priorities are. Like, what do you see for that future that Linda just spoke about? And then from there, once the goals are determined, that's what drives placement. That's what drives the services and the different accommodations that will be put into the IEP as part of the IEP. So it's really important to kind of think about the goals being sandwiched between the assessment, and then from there, after you determine the goals, determining the placement and the accommodations and supports. Next slide, please. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that you should really be thinking about some of your child's goals, even if you feel like, even if we're thinking about children that have more extensive support needs. So a child who's deafblind, but also has some additional disabilities, they may have a lot of goals that are very specific to learning skills that they're going to need to be functional skills in life in terms of communication, or maybe learning expected behaviors in school, or learning skills that are going to help them with mobility and independence or navigation. But you should also expect that your child can have access to general education curriculum that's modified or adapted or accommodated for them. So you should expect that there are some goals related to literacy and numeracy in your child's IEP. And in fact, IDEA, so our special education law, and the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, which is the federal law that governs how the general ed program is presented across the country, expects actually that all students, regardless of their abilities or disabilities, participate and make progress in the general ed curriculum. Now, that does not mean that they have to keep pace with children in their same grade if they don't have the intellectual capacity to do that, but they should have access to that curriculum and we determine goals that connect to that curriculum in a meaningful way. Now, I was speaking to my co-presenters this week, and we could do another webinar on how to do that. So we're not going to dig too deep into that tonight, but I just want you to be aware that you should be expecting that there are academic goals that are linking to what the standards are for children at your child's age level. So their age and grade level, even if they're performing at a lower level. California Deafblind Services, good teachers out in the field like Linda can help you to understand how to make these connections and do that. And the other thing is, and at the very end of the slideshow, we have a list of resources that will take you to these different standards that California uses to determine what standards apply to each grade level. For English and math, you'll find that in social studies in the Common Core standards. And then for science, you'll find it with the next generation science standards. And if your child is currently taking the alternate assessment, so that means they're not taking the typical statewide assessment, they are taking an alternate assessment to determine their progress and growth over the year in terms of the statewide measure. There are California has adopted what's called the alternate standards, and they're linked to grade level standards in the Common Core, and they're called Common Core connectors. So there are ways to use those Common Core connectors to develop an IEP goal. Next slide. Yeah. And then we also wanted to stress and point out that there is a difference between the IFSP and the IEP. So those of you, and we want to just cover this slide briefly because we know that some people that signed up from this webinar are right in that transition period from Part C, from birth to 3, to Part B, which is now their school age years, from preschool to 22. So an IFSP is very focused on helping the child move forward and make progress in terms of their development in all areas. But the goals are family focused on what are we going to do to support the family to be providing intervention for the child. And so that's the services are determined based on what goals are developed for the family to help them reach that. And then also keeping some record of what the outcomes are in terms of the family's goals from year to year. When you get to Part B, so you're now school age services, now the educational services and supports are individualized for your child. And they're very focused on that particular child rather than what's the whole family and goals for the parents. It's going to be goals just for the student. They are going to be age appropriate. So based on what their age is and what grade level they're in, educational goals. And they will be looking at both academic as well as functional skills. And then services and supports are then, as I said earlier, matched to how the goals were developed, what are the services and supports they're going to need for that goal to be implemented. And now the reporting and looking at outcomes is, instead of looking at the family goals, it's now looking at the student's goals and the progress that the student made. And now I'm going to pass it back over to Janelle.
So what should the goals address? The goals for our learners really need to cover so many things. And we really want to think about, for you as parents, considering what your family's priorities are and coming to the meeting prepared, kind of thinking, what is our vision? What is my child's vision? Maybe talking with the child or communicating with your child about what their vision for the year is, and starting there. And next week, our presentation is about collaboration and communication with the team. And we're going to get a little bit more into what families and parents can do to prepare for the meeting. And that's a big part of it, is knowing kind of what goals do we prioritize this year. And then your goals are tied to the evaluation of their present levels, should be tied to the assessment if they've just had an assessment of knowledge and skills in their areas of need. And then really looking at those targeted areas where growth is needed. So picking those areas that are the most important right now, and as we're looking at this school year for an annual IEP. And then the goals should connect to your vision and provide opportunities to participate in grade level general ed curriculum with adaptations and alternate standards. So that's the piece Julie was talking about, that we really want to be making sure that these goals are connecting back to those standards and or connecting to those really important areas related to their disability. And when we look at examples later, we're going to see some examples that do both. A lot of times, like a communication goal can tie so beautifully into a literacy standard or a writing standard. So really thinking creatively with your team and looking at how your speech and language therapist can be collaborating with the classroom teachers to work on academics within their other goal areas too. So the pieces of the goal are really important. And I think sometimes as a parent, we're looking at the goals and really thinking about all the different areas that are important, but it's also important to understand why they have all of the different pieces in a goal. And the teachers are still working on this sometimes, to be honest. So teachers are trained in our credential programs how to write a goal and all these criteria. And we're really, reminding teachers a lot. But when you're looking at the goals, you should be looking for these 5 pieces of your IEP goal. And the reason all these things need to be there is because it makes it so that it's really clear to everyone on the team what is expected of them, where is it going to be happening, what are the prompts that they might be needing, or if their assistive technology is required. And also, how is it going to be measured? So number one, there always needs to be a date and their name. The conditions or context. So that's the situation in which the behavior is performed, which is often written as given blank. So by January 30th, 2025, Janelle, or given a magnifier and a communication partner, Janelle will blah, 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 and finish with the specific indicator for my observable behavior that I'm going to do. So you're looking at those conditions. Sometimes it's a prompt, sometimes it might be a different accommodation, and it also can list the context. So in the language arts setting, or at recess, or during a specific activity, you can list they should be listing those conditions and contexts there. And then the performance indicator and observable behavior, you really want to make sure that's specific so that everybody understands what should be happening and what the student is expected to do. And the criteria is that level of mastery, accuracy, and frequency. So this is written many different ways depending on what the goal is and how they're going to be collecting data on it. So this is where sometimes you'll see with 80% accuracy, or you'll see in 3 out of 5 opportunities, or across 3 consecutive days. So this is where you're looking at those pieces that tie to the progress monitoring piece. And then measurement, it should say how they're going to measure this goal. So it should say in 4 out of 5 opportunities as measured by teacher data collection, or as measured by work samples, observation. So it should really clearly state how the progress is going to be monitored. And as a parent, that's a piece that you really want to be looking for also, and talking with your team about how are you going to be monitoring this goal. And we wanted to share an example from this. The SACE system is an IEP system that many of us might be familiar with. Many of the school districts in California use this system. But this just gives you an example of how a teacher is being prompted to write the goal. And so in the beginning, it says when, given what. So then it gives you an example of those conditions. Who does what? So what is your observable behavior? How much? Does what criteria? And then how will it be measured? So it really walks them through all of those important components. And this is an example of, in the SACE system, what it looks like when the goal page is blank. So again, just to show you, and you'll have access to the handout if you want to look at this more closely. One of the pieces we really wanted to highlight on this page is about halfway through. It has these box choices. And so sometimes teachers will click on a box that says the purpose of the goal. And in some other systems, they might be typing it in. But in SACE, they have the option to click enable student to be involved in or progress in general ed curriculum state standard. And then they should list what standard that is. If they're checking that box, they should be able to list the details of those standards in the box below. And then there's options for addresses other educational needs resulting from the disability, linguistically appropriate, or in the transition goals, it says education and training, employment, independent living. And we wanted to point out that sometimes we'll find that all of the goals in the IEP have this box checked that says addresses other educational needs resulting from the disability. And it's okay to have some goals that are only addressing that, but you can also have goals that are addressing a standard and educational needs resulting from a disability. And we'll show you an example of one of those. Or you can have some goals that are addressing standards and some that are addressing other educational needs, but you want to make sure that there's some in there that are addressing those standards. So once your team has determined kind of what the criteria is and how they're going to be measuring it, and you're very clear as a parent how they're going to be monitoring that progress, then you want to make sure that they're actually doing that and measuring it, and that you're getting progress reports. So there's an option in the IEP that says, how frequently will progress be reported? And so in the SACE system, there's like a checkbox again, where they can say quarterly or by semester. And in some districts, the school district is kind of determining how frequently progress reports are given. Parents can request more frequent progress reporting, but you want to give enough time for some development to happen with the work on the goal also. But this is important to know that you're supposed to be getting a progress report in a certain period of time, and that if you don't, we should be following up on that. And when you do get the progress report, that's going to give you a lot of information about how they're doing, hopefully. And then when you get that progress report, or you're feeling like you're observing it yourself, that there is no or limited progress, like they're working on a communication goal about yes or no, and you're noticing at home, we're really not seeing progress with this at home, and you want to follow up on that, or you've gotten the progress report and you see that their data shows that there's no progress. There should be a note. Sometimes there's like a comment, or the teacher is already communicating with you, or the service provider, you already know about it. Hopefully you already have a wonderful collaborative relationship with your team, and you already know that that it's been, they aren't making progress, and kind of what next steps they're trying. But if you don't already know that, a good question to ask is, how will instruction or the environment be adjusted to approach the goal differently? So sometimes teams will kind of get stuck in trying to teach a goal a certain way. And if you see at 1 or 2 progress reports in a row, there's not a change, you want to talk with the team about, okay, what can we do differently? Because it doesn't mean they're not going to meet this goal, or they're not going to make progress. It just means we need to adjust how we're working on it, and talking with the team about that. And then also sometimes you've gotten to your IEP and there's one goal on the IEP that everyone's kind of like, okay, we think this should be on the IEP, but we're not quite sure it's the most appropriate thing right now. And then you get to the progress reports and they're not making progress with it. Or sometimes they've met the goal really early, or it feels like they're not having enough opportunity to work on it. And it's okay to talk with your team about whether the goal is still appropriate, and have a meeting, maybe even have an amendment to the IEP if you need to. But those progress reports can be really beneficial for everybody. So now I'm going to pass it back to Linda.
Okay, now we're going to talk about what makes a goal meaningful and appropriate for deafblind learners, because there are specifics that are needed for it to give them access to learning and for them to actually learn, right? So the first thing is, it should be functional and relevant to your child's individual needs. And what that means is, functional, for instance, is learning a skill, a daily living skill, learning a strategy to help with something. Yes, they can be doing a puzzle at a certain point, but that's not learning. That's for break time. There has to be something functional going on that is helping your child build on a foundation for the next level of learning. Relevant. That means it has to mean something to your child. If you want to teach them something that has nothing to do with something that engages them, they will disengage. So we have to think about the things they talk about, following the child. It doesn't mean that you're kowtowing to a child. You have to make learning meaningful to them, something that they want to learn, that they can apply in their life. Second thing is attainable yet challenging. Basically, you don't want to make something too high that they get frustrated because they will disengage. But you don't want to put the bar too low, because that's not fair. That's not interesting. They will get bored and they will also disengage. You really want to set a foundation for learning that builds on top of each other. Third, provides access for participation and progress in their educational curriculum, specifying supports needed for this access, specialized equipment, intervener, modifications. That's our job. Our job as teachers, as educators, is to get them access to their educational curriculum. And what we do is, to do that, hopefully we find out what their need is, their specific individualized need based on all the things we've been talking about up to this point. And then we have to put in those supports. So those all have to be there. Expanding communication. This is a big thing because a lot of deafblind individuals, they, especially if it has happened from birth, they miss a lot of incidental learning, which is when you learn without really thinking about it. And a lot of language is learned through incidental learning as babies, as we, as soon as we come out of the womb. So we have to make a real conscious effort to expand their communication. Now it says here, specifying agreed upon modality or modalities. Very, very, very important. First of all, parent choice. What do you want your child to be using as a modality for communication? What do you use at home? Also, what does the child gravitate toward? What is their hearing level? What is their visual level? What can they do medically? What are the impacts of those and how do we work around those? So there are lots of different ways to do that. And it should be talked about in the IEP, and the goals for communication should support that because communication is key to engagement. Individualized to sensory access, sensory preferences of student. Part of that is what I just talked about, communication. How do they gravitate toward communicating, right? But also learning. These kids have a lot of sensory sensitivities, and we have to find out what kind of access they have from their vision and their hearing, and what their tactile is, senses are like, and how tactily sensitive they are. And we have to work with them in order to make it the most comfortable way for them to learn, because it's not easy. It's a very scary world in a certain way for these deafblind students who come out, to schools. And so we have to follow through with that. Next, meaningful to the student, not just others. I sort of touched on that before. It has to mean something to them for them to want to learn, right? Connect it to their lives. Implementable and measurable consistently across IEP team members as collaborators. Collaboration is huge. It's very important when working with a deafblind student because, again, the world is quite unknown to them because of these sensory deficits, and they need a lot of consistency across the IEP team. When you get something in place, it should really be in place for any of the IEP team members who work with the child so that they can get an expectation of what is to come. The next thing is sensitive to the anxieties of having deafblindness, which drives the strategies used in implementation. Again, building on number 7, again, it's very hard. A deafblind individual, they talk about the world as the hula hoop that they have around them. Beyond that is very scary, but there are ways to calm their anxieties so that they can learn. It takes patience, it takes dedication, it takes consistency, and it takes building a trust. And we can do that. Should I keep going? Okay. Not written to classroom dynamics and staffing. Classroom dynamics and staffing must support implementation of the goal. So they don't get to say, oh, we can't do that. We're finding the need, we're writing the goal, and then we get the support so that we can work on the goal, implement the goal, and not copied from a generic goal bank. It's not that it's not okay, because talking about connecting it to curriculum, yes, of course, but this is called an individualized educational program because that's what it is. It should be for your child, what is best for your child so that they can expand their learning and build on a foundation of learning. Okay, so here are 2 goals. The first one is S will utilize a tactile object cue schedule to support transitions in his daily school schedule with adult assistance as needed, including hand-under-hand guidance, sign support, oral language, an AAC device, or a multimodal mode of communication, prompting, with 70% accuracy, 4 out of 5 tries, as measured by teacher observations. So you have the who, S. You have the conditions, utilizing a tactile object cue schedule. That is to give them structure in their day, to help them with transitions, to help them know what is coming up. And it also supports literacy. It might be a tactile object cue. It might be a picture cue. It might be a written cue. But it is, and it's also communication, because they get to work with their one-on-one, their aide, their intervener, which Julie will talk about later. And there's communication that goes back and forth as they go through the day. They know what's coming up and they use this tactile schedule. Adult assistance, it's nice when they give specifics. Hand under hand guidance, because most people think it should be hand over hand, which is very startling for a deafblind individual, actually. It doesn't allow them to move slowly or have any control. It's really, and we say do with, not for. Sign support, all of those things talk about the specific ways that will happen. 70% accuracy, there's the measure, and how is it going to be measured? By teacher observations. So that's called a self-advocacy goal, but it also takes in some communication and some literacy. The second goal, given books adapted to encourage visual or tactile interest and with a clear repeated line or chorus, A will independently activate a switch to participate in a shared reading experience by completing the repeated line at least one time during the activity, 3 out of 4 days. And probably it should have, I think we forgot to put on just how it would be measured. But it could be a teacher log, collecting data. And here is a wonderful way to have a goal that is connected to literacy. And it's a way for someone to join into a shared reading experience and be able to, in a discernible manner, in a way that can be observed, participate. So those are 2 very well-written goals.
Thank you, Linda. So we have 2 more examples here, but I'm just going to share one of them with you for the sake of time, and then you have these in the handouts. But I really like this example 3 because it includes some good specifics. So given an FM system, when presented with one-step word problems involving multiplication and division, J will use strategies such as highlighting, underlining, and/or using a graphic organizer to identify the correct operation to use to solve the problem. So when we're thinking about we skipped over the name and date on this one, but the givens, we have assistive technology, we have the context. So when presented with these one-step word problems involving multiplication and division, what strategies will she use is the observable behavior that we're looking for. So use the strategies such as highlighting, underline, graphic organizer, and then identify the correct operation. So that's what their data is going to be marking, is did she use the strategies and identify the correct operation? 80% of the time by 2 separate work samples collected by the classroom teacher during a 45-minute session. So this is so clear. Everyone knows when this is happening, who's responsible for it, what she's responsible for doing. I really like that example. And the other one is also very good. And we chose this one because it's so specific and individualized to this learner. And so we just wanted to really pull that out. We have a couple of examples here. Again, you have it in the handout, but I'll do one. We wanted to kind of practice looking at a goal and thinking with putting your hat on and imagining that you just received your IEP draft from your team and you're thinking about the goals, or you're thinking about, what would I write in a goal? And one of the ways that you can dig into it and look at what proofreading or ideas that you have about it is to think about what's missing from it, or if nothing is missing from it. So in this first example, it says by date, S will increase expressive communication by commenting and asking questions as measured by teacher collected data. So it sounds pretty clear as far as we kind of know what we're expecting. We kind of know how we're measuring it. And it sounds like a great idea, increase expressive communication by commenting and asking questions. But we are missing a couple things. If you want to add more ideas about what we might be missing, please feel free to throw it in the chat. This first one that we found is that we're missing the conditions and context. So is there a given? Is this happening all day? Is this given total communication or sign language or an AAC device? What is the context? Is she communicating with peers, or are they communicating during a language arts lesson, during small group activities? What is that context and the conditions? Do they need prompting? Do they need any kind of modeling, things like that? Is this behavior descriptive enough? So by just saying increase expressive communication by commenting and asking questions, for many of our deafblind learners, we need to specify what kind of communication we're going to expect from them. So what is their mode of communication for expressing themselves? And we want to be really specific about that so that people know how to measure it. And the criteria. So increasing it isn't enough. We need to know what is the criteria for measuring it. How much are they going to be increasing it? How many times per day are we looking at doing this? Or it could be even more specific, like the example we gave, where it's during a 30-minute lesson, they'll perform the behavior 3 times or something like that, more specific. So this is our other example, and you can think about it and put things in the chat if you'd like. But D will improve by date. D will improve reading comprehension skills and spelling skills based on weekly data tracking. So here, again, we're missing conditions and context. We can really add more to that. Is the behavior measurable? So do we know exactly what we're looking for here? How are we going to measure reading comprehension and spelling? And then the criteria, again, we need some sort of 80% or something like that, where it's really clear what we're marking. So hopefully that kind of helps you walk through what we're looking for. And I'm going to pass it back to Linda again.
Goal skill generalization. One thing to consider in planning IEP goals is whether you will be able to support the goal at home or in the community. Discuss how the skills will generalize across settings. So this builds on everything we've been saying. This is your child. You want them to engage in the community. They will be with you when they're not with us, and also after they are through with school. So prioritizing what your goals are, what you want to see, is very important to the process of the IEP, because we want them to be able to generalize those skills. Also important, the goals are not set in stone. You can agree to the goals in an IEP and then decide later as a team that they need to be amended. The teacher might say to you they need to be amended. They've met them already, or they're just not working out for some reason. You talk about it. For any goal you feel unsure about, ask the team why they think it's important and how they plan to target it. This is your chance to really get to the nitty-gritty and be able to talk about what you want for your child. If they can share a good specific reason and describe how it will be targeted, you can agree to the goal and keep an eye on it. And if you still don't like it because you don't see progress or you don't see value to it for your child, call a meeting. You can call a meeting anytime. You can ask for an amendment anytime.
Okay, so I really hope that now, after you just heard that discussion on the IEP goals, you're feeling much more confident in participating in your child's IEP, especially if you feel like the goals could be more relevant and meaningful. The next part, and I'm looking at the time, so I'm going to go quickly on the next couple slides. The next piece we want to talk about is the supplementary aids and services, so specific to accommodations and modifications. Accommodations and modifications are really there to make sure that things are a level playing field, okay? So it's about removing access barriers. It's not about giving someone an unfair advantage. There's some great resources on the IRIS Center. The IRIS Center is another technical assistance program that provides a lot of information for professionals and also families. And they've got, if you click on the, when you have the handout, if you click on both the accommodations and the modifications that is in purple text, that will talk about specific, give you a really good definition of modifications and accommodations, and also talk about how they are used in school settings. Next. And then one thing I want you to know is just kind of the difference. So accommodations you see more often for students who don't require the level of the curriculum to be changed. So they are able to meet the expectations in terms of what the curriculum has and what the grade level standards say, but they don't have full access because of their sensory limitations. So accommodations are going to allow the student to achieve the same goals as other students without disabilities at their grade level. So it won't change the expectations. It won't change what's required in terms of how the student is going to demonstrate their knowledge and skills, or how a teacher is going to assess progress. And it's not going to change what is part of the curriculum. And we're going to show you some really good examples in a minute. Modifications are different. Modifications actually do change what the student has to learn. So if you are a student, and this is more, you see this with a student who's deafblind and has additional disabilities, or perhaps is served in a special education class, you will see then modifications to the curriculum, because maybe they can't meet the same expectations and requirements for what a grade level expectation would be, but we could modify it. We could simplify the text. We could add visual supports. We could have them, there was some good example earlier with the child that used a switch, and all she had to do in that adapted literacy activity was recognize that now there's a repeated line in this story, and I'm going to hit my switch. There wasn't the expectation that she had to read the whole book, that she had to answer comprehension questions. So it will change the expectation for the learning and reduce the requirements of the task, but they're still learning really important and meaningful. This applies to both academic goals as well as functional life skill goals. You could also make a modification for someone who's trying to follow a cooking recipe, for example. And then we have a list of a few slides now that Linda, I think, is going to cover. But Linda, I think we have to do it pretty quickly.
Yeah, so this is not an exhaustive list, and you'll get to look at it. What you need to know about the list is that there are accommodations for visual impairments, for hearing impairments, for kids who are or in an academic setting where they have graphic organizers or a note taker, time, seating. It's not exhaustive, but you need to know that they're there and that they are important. The last thing I want you to know about accommodations, well, not the last, but they have to be fluid, because sometimes things happen. Sometimes equipment breaks. They have to make a change. Sometimes a kid is not feeling well, or they don't have their cochlear implant, or whatever it is you have to make, or there's a special lesson and the teacher is in another part of the room. They have to change his seat. So make sure that they understand the accommodations are fluid.
And here we want to show you a really wonderful example. So this is an example from an actual student, and their parent graciously allowed us to share it with you. And what I like about this example, this is for a fifth grader, how they've, and for this particular SELPA and district, this is how they organize their accommodation page. So as you can see, accommodations are not only about the curriculum, it's also about the setting. So you can see there's multiple things that are changed for the setting and the schedule. They address the sensory needs. And so some of this is extra time and breaks. Then they look at both directions and instructions, but also student response. So you can see, and these are very clearly written. That's what we really love about this example. And then the other areas of organization and study skills, and then even personal care and equipment. So that's where you see the FM system being used, a white cane, a monocular, and also assistance and supervision with nutrition and hydration times, because the student has that particular need. So it can, as Linda said, it's not exhaustive. There's all kinds of things. So you really have to make sure all of the accommodations are addressed. And then this is an example. This student also takes the grade level testing. So she's not an alternate curriculum student. So she's taking the Smarter Balanced Assessment, which is what California follows. And you see that, again, there's a lot of specifics that are offered to her that address both her hearing and her visual needs, and for both English language arts and math. And that's important. If you have a student who is taking the Smarter Balance Assessment, make sure that the team is very thorough in terms of listing all the accommodations, because otherwise, when they come to the testing situation, people are like, no, we can't change that. If they have this, all these things can be provided.
I'm a related services provider. I'm a deaf and hard of hearing teacher. Again, this is not an exhaustive list, but you can see that it takes a village, and they're for visual impairments, for hard of hearing, speech and language, O&M, occupational therapy, physical therapy. The important thing is to know that you need to make sure that your child is provided the correct related services, the correct supports to be able to meet their goals, meet their needs so that they can learn. Okay. So these are often teacher of the visually impaired. These are the ones that are often for students with deafblindness, orientation and mobility, speech language therapist, specialized academic instruction when additional disabilities are present, and a one-on-one aid support. Interveners, we're trying to get them into the schools, but no matter what they call them, it's very important. And I just wanted to say that the support providers are responsible to help make sure the accommodations are there for their area. I'm responsible to make sure there's a sound field or that they have their equipment, the FM. So that's important to know as well. And this is an example of related services details. It's actually not the way it shows up in LAUSD. So it's just important to know that there is a section there, and make sure you can see the duration and the frequency, how often it's going to be, where it's going to be, whether it's going to be one-on-one or collaborative, whether it's going to be, those are two different services. So you might see it look differently, but an IEP is an IEP, and it's anywhere in the country, it's a legal document that they must translate into their own. We use Welligen, for instance. So
Okay, thank you, Linda. I'm just going to quickly cover this one. We just wanted to point out that there are program modifications and supports for school personnel as part of this section of the IEP. And these supports are for the team to support their implementation of the IEP. So sometimes this can include training. It can include collaboration time. So if you know for sure your team needs to have identified meeting points or times that they can, say the general ed teacher needs to have time with a special education teacher or with the TVI, you can include consultation from us as the State Deafblind Project as something that you're including in this. So these are really supports that the team can have. And sometimes the educational team might not be thinking as much about this part of it, but it's a really wonderful piece of the IEP that you can bring up, and it can help kind of build the relationship and help you kind of think about what needs to be prioritized to support the team too. Okay, Julie's going to talk about interveners, and we are close on time, but we're going to make it.
Yeah. So we're going back now possibly to related services. So this is again, as we said earlier, you have the assessment, then you have the goals, and now we've determined what the student needs in terms of their access. And some students have one-on-one paraeducators, or there's enough staffing in a classroom or a program where students are kind of getting a lot of one-on-one attention, but it might not be the same person all day. So I just want to make sure that you're clear as parents what an intervener is. So an intervener is the term that's used in our field for a person who's a one-on-one paraeducator. They're working just with your child or that child, and they have some training in deafblindness. And the key thing about them, and this is an important thing to remember, they provide access, and they provide access on so many different levels. So not just access to spoken language. That's what an interpreter does. Their responsibility, an ASL interpreter or an educational interpreter, their responsibility is to interpret the spoken language in the environment, but not everything else that's going on. As you've heard from the things that we've shared today, and especially what Linda shared in terms of thinking about the needs of deafblind learners, they need access in many other areas beyond just language. So we don't have enough time to go too deeply into this, and I'm going to share some great resources, and that's going to be your homework to just go and check those out and then come back and contact any of us if you have questions about it. But we can help teams better understand this role, and we can help in training and coaching interveners. There is not a huge pool of interveners waiting to be hired out in the state, but there's more and more awareness of this role, and there's more and more families that are asking districts for this because their child would benefit from the service. Not every child who's deafblind requires the services of an intervener, and I'm going to show you a tool that's going to help you determine what that, if that's true in your case. But I just want a good thing you can do when you're collaborating with your team, if they're still saying like, well, we don't have that here in our district, or I've never heard of that, or does the state recognize this? This is a movement that's building now in the state. This awareness and this focus on training and preparing these types of service providers in the same way that maybe a child who has a lot of behavioral needs might have a behavioral aid, or someone who's blind, low vision might have an aid that can assist them in learning Braille. Next slide. So on this slide, it's just talking about, again, how an intervener is different than a one-on-one paraeducator. So they're going to work with your child and not be assigned to a group of kids, and then your child's getting some of that support. Because if an intervener is providing access, we can't take access away from the child some of the day. The access has to be provided whenever the child needs it. An intervener does not have to be someone who's fluent in ASL unless your child, the learner, needs that level of communication. They are using ASL in a fluent way, then they will need an intervener who's fluent. But other children may need an intervener that understands assistive technology, or understands picture symbols, or has basic ASL at the same level that your child is using. And they're also, the key thing is they're not replacing the teacher or the related service provider. They are working under the guidance of those professionals. Those professionals have credentials to serve children who are deafblind, so they will still develop the goals. They will make the curriculum selections and design the lessons, but then the intervener will work to help implement the lesson and also be working with the team to provide feedback on the progress that they see the child making, new supports they may need, different accommodations, things like that. So they're really a bridge. So here's your intervener resources. We have a web page on interveners, so you can click on that and learn some more. And that is a work in progress. There will be more resources going up. The National Center on Deafblindness has a really comprehensive, organized group of tools and resources. And these resources under interveners are specific to families. So you'll find an intervener definition there, which is a great first thing to share with a district or providers if they don't know what an intervener is. The IEP discussion guide, which we've supported a lot of teams in learning to use. This is not something that you fill out as a parent and then bring to the IEP. This is something that the IEP team uses with your input to determine if there are areas of access that aren't being met, and which would determine if a intervener is needed. And then finally, if you do need some support and understanding, interveners are not yet included in IDEA as a related service, not in the same way as some of those other services are. And even an educational interpreter is in IDEA, but intervener is not yet. However, the Office of Special Education 5 or 6 years ago did provide a letter to the national network, and that's a link here, that says if the team determines that this is a service and support that a child needs for their IEP to be implemented, then an intervener can be added as a related service. So this is another resource and tool you have. And then finally, there's a group of people and professional organizations that are really moving forward with trying to get legislation to change and add interveners to IDEA, and that is the Alice Cogswell and Sullivan Macy Act. And so there's their website. So there's a lot of great information there.
Lastly, what can you bring to the IEP meeting? Yourself. We want you there. Make sure they have it at a time when you can come, because we really want you there. Your hopes and dreams. They deserve hopes and dreams. You deserve hopes and dreams. Please, specific situations or skills you'd like to address, as we've spoken about before. Skills they will need in the future. We all think about our children's futures.
Mm-hmm.
Supports that work and supports that don't work. Your input is very important. And if you've already reviewed a draft of the goals, accommodations, supports, and service pages, bring your notes, questions, and suggestions. We welcome that. Thank you.
And if this is Julie, if I could just add, Linda, I love that last point is important. Please ask your teams to provide you with a draft of the goals and what some of the expectations are. Nothing should be set in stone before you're involved in that discussion. But as we learned in our very first webinar, and then I think with DRC, and I think Darlene mentioned too last week, please go ahead in advance, ask them to send them those what they're expecting to both share in the assessment reports as well as the draft goals ahead of time. And then the final slide, you do have our contacts. And now we have time to go to the questions.